Hi, welcome to the Guilty Knitter. I'm Vivian, and I am coming to you from a very wintry Montreal, Canada, where it's actually we're in the middle of a bit of a snowstorm today, January the 5th, 2018. This morning, I guess this shows that I am a real Canadian. My husband and I walked 25 minutes to meet friends for breakfast on a day where it was minus 31 with the wind chill. Anyway, it was very cold and I was not quite dressed. There was just about 6 inches of my thighs that got totally frozen on the way there. So I decided to take a bus back, which was probably wise. Anyway, here I am. I've been gearing up to do this podcast for a long time. Many months of trial and error and never getting there. But I'm really excited to share some knitting projects with you. All you out there in cyberspace and on Ravelry and Instagram, where I've discovered so many wonderful projects and so many great knitters, very inspiring. And I just thought I would throw in my oar and see what happens. I'm really not with this. I'm very, very new at this, so I hope you'll bear with me. I am, with the help of my lovely daughter Erica. She did the intro. She figured all that out and did the editing. I take no responsibility for that. My husband wrote the little song and I sang it, but that was it. But she did all the rest. She's great. Anyway, so here we are. I have many things to share with you today. I have some finished objects, some works in progress, and some acquisitions. So we'll get right to it. Just to orient you as to where I am, Montreal, as you probably know, is in Quebec. And my favorite and yarn store is just 2 blocks from here, and it's called Espace Tricot. I'm sure you know all about that place if you're an avid knitter and you watch a few podcasts. They have a really lovely podcast that I enjoy very much. They're also extremely good one-on-one. They're just terrific at the store, very, very helpful, and I enjoy my Friday afternoons there very much. In fact, this afternoon, if I get done with this early enough, I might head over there for an hour, even though it's freezing out, as I mentioned earlier. Oh, maybe I should just mention that just to give you a little background of my knitting story, I started knitting when I was very young, and then knitted off and on till I was early 30s. Did some knitting, I was not that serious about it, but I enjoyed it. And then I stopped for about 20 years. I was raising kids, I had a job, I was busy, and I was ending up with some neck and shoulder pain that I thought was probably being exacerbated by knitting. So I stopped for 20 years, really, pretty much cold turkey. And came back to it just 4 years ago when a friend of mine at work was sporting this gorgeous cowl, and I said, "Oh my goodness, where did you get that cowl?" And she said, "I made it." And I thought, "Oh, I'm going to try that again too." So I got into it just before Christmas 4 years ago and made quite a few things that year for just really easy cowls and hats and things like that. But I really, really enjoyed it. And since then, it's just been no looking back. I mean, Ravelry just made everything so much easier than it was when I was knitting earlier, where you just had the pattern and no other reference, really, and you just had to wing it and do your best, So, anyway, so that's what happened, and now I'm back into it, and I really love it. And I'm going to share, the first thing I'll share with you is this great and wonderful Vertices Unite, which I made, I guess, last year sometime. That's the wrong side. It's quite something, isn't it? I think most people think my color choices are a bit insane, but I'm a color girl. What can I say? I had so much fun knitting this. This was my first Stephen West that I've ever knitted, and I just had so much fun with it. It's not a hard knit. I mean, if you're going to start a Stephen West, you've never done one, this is a good one to start with, because there's nothing too complicated once you get used to the way it's constructed. There are a couple of little issues with that, but it's not hard. It's a nice, easy one. I used various different yarns in it. I guess some of it is Artful Belle, which I think the purple, and the, what else? The purple and the gray here, the dark gray, and the green, maybe? No, the green is Koigu, and the yellow as well, Koigu. And I did this lovely variegated yarn that I striped is called Tiptoe by what is it? Hold on, I wrote it down. Studio Lou Tiptoe is the colorway. The colorway is Orchid. So it's a fingering weight. I guess it's a sock yarn. But anyway, I just I striped it with two different colors, you see, right here and right here. And that worked out quite nicely. So that's my first finished project. My second one is this hat, which was quite a sensation when I made it before Christmas. I've been meaning to make it ever since I first saw it on Ravelry, like probably 3 years ago or something or more. I just thought it was the cutest thing. So I decided to make one. I had all the yarn in my stash, which was lucky because I've been trying not to buy a lot of new yarn because, yeah, I have a lot of stash. So this is called the Babble Hat by Donna Smith. I really had fun with it because it's just great. It's great to do a little bit of color work and have it come out so charmingly like that. I used this Falkland Merino by Debbie Bliss in the teal colorway, and the Ecru colorway is the white. And this black is a Queensland Collection Kathmandu. It's a lovely sort of knobbly black yarn. It's a little bit thicker than the rest, but it works very well. It worked really, really well. It sort of pops out a little bit, in fact, for their faces. And the gray is Barocco Vintage, which is a real stalwart. I think it's a great all-purpose yarn. It's totally washable because I think it's half acrylic and half wool or something like that, and it's easy to work with, and comes in a million colors. So, and I ended up making two other ones because when my daughter arrived from England for Christmas, she fell in love with it and wanted one. So I thought, well, what the heck, sure. So I made her one, and then my son's partner came and she loved it, and I made her one. So I did a lot of hat making over the holidays, which put me a little bit behind on my other projects, but that's okay. I'm glad to have given those to such knit-worthy recipients. Okay, the next thing is my vertices, no, sorry, not my vertices, my exploration station. Another Stephen West pattern, and oh, it's so pretty, and I love it so much. I had a lot of fun making that as well. I think I can pretty much say that having knitted only, well, 2.5 Stephen West patterns, because my third one was the 2017 knit along. I forget the name of it now. I only got as far as knitting the first section of that one. But this one, it was a lot of fun. It took me a long time. I don't do a lot of shawls. I haven't done many shawls. So, yeah, it took me quite a while. And I had some issues with the, this part right here, which is brioche. And I think a lot of people have a little bit of some issues with it. For me, the main problem was if ever I made a mistake, dropped a stitch, then that's where it gets tricky. So I had to refer to YouTube and also to my friends at Espace Tricot for help. But I managed to get through it, and I think it looks really nice. And if you don't look too closely, you can't see any of the mistakes. A man on a galloping horse would never see it, as my mother used to say. Yeah, so I would definitely recommend, if you're feeling ambitious and you haven't done, if you've done some, you know, of this kind of knitting, go for it. This is a lot of fun. And the yarn I used for this, I did two of the yarns are from my friend Annie from Knitting It Up. She dyed that one, and she dyed this one, the lighter blue. I don't know if the light's all that great here, but it's a little dull out because of the storm. But so she did those, and they're just great. I think they were a couple of her first attempts, and I think they're beautiful. And this one is this Sweet Georgia, I believe it's the Tough Love sock in the summer skin colorway, and the dark purplish blue is Yarn Ink in the fringe colorway in their sock yarn. Does that cover it all? I think that covers it all. And yeah, I had so much fun with that. I also wanted to mention that I'm wearing this sweater by, maybe I'll just switch this down a tiny bit. I'm wearing this sweater called what did I call it? I didn't even write that down. Did I? No. It's called Sunshine Coast or something like that. It's supposed to be done in linen. I ended up doing it in a Debbie Bliss merino superwash wool. And I love this sweater, but it kind of grew immensely. It was really long in the arms, really long here, even longer than it is, as you can see it. But then just recently, my husband threw it in the wash and the dryer, the washer and the dryer, and it came out beautifully. Actually, it shrank just enough so that it's not a ridiculous garment anymore, which is kind of fun. I'm going to put on my exploration station. It's a good thing it wasn't my other sweater, which I'll show you presently. My all-time favorite sweater so far. Haven't done a lot of sweater knitting either, but anyway, here it is. This is my Sundaughter by Diana Walla. Isn't that a gorgeous thing? I love it. I knit this in Barrett Wool Co., Wisconsin worsted, and I just had so much fun with it. And when it's finished, I mean, I couldn't take it off, and I still wear it all the time. It's just something about this kind of yarn that's is not superwash. It's really sturdy stuff. You have this feeling it's going to last forever. It's not at all scratchy though. It's very, very nice on your skin. But it's not soft like what you'd say, like for merino or something like that. That's definitely really soft stuff. This is not like that, but it's great stuff. Anyway, I highly recommend this knit. So the pink is from Barrett Wool Co. It's the blushing colorway. And the dark gray and the light gray are both Osprey by Quince & Co. And I ended up, because I had added this color work to the sleeves, which I did partly to find out about the gauge, how much, whether I should go up in needle size and this and that. So I thought that'd be a good way to do it. So I did the sleeves first. Did this part, got the gauge for the color work, so it turned out that yes, I should go up a size, which is recommended in the pattern. And And so yeah, I got the sleeves done, and then it sat there for the whole summer while I did lots of other things. And then I finally picked it up in the fall and finished the sweater. And oh, just love it so much. So yeah, anyway, because I added that color work on the sleeves, I ended up going short of the dark gray of the, it's called Kitty Wake, I guess, the dark gray. And I had to go over to the store and see if they had any more. Of course they're out of it because gray is such a popular color. So I ended up buying the lighter gray, which is called Kumlin's Gull, whatever. But I think it works really well. And I had just enough to put these little black or darker gray dots at the top. I think that looks quite pretty. So that's fun. So yeah, that's a fun thing. I enjoyed so much. Because I've been knitting for the last 4 years quite steadily. I could bring you up a lot of finished objects, and maybe I'll bring a few up in the next few weeks, things that I haven't, that aren't like so recently finished, but that you might find interesting. I'm working on a sweater called, it is called the Clarke Pullover by Jane Richmond, and here it is. I'm almost finished. Oh my gosh, I started it in the fall, I guess, not that long after I finished the Sun Daughter. And I had bought this, the funniest, as I said, I'm a color girl, okay? So if these colors are, you find them nuts, well, I just love them. I'll tell you what happened. I bought this Tanis, this lemongrass. This is the colorway of the green. I bought it on sale at Espace Tricot, and it's the superwash DK, and they're getting out of using superwash, so I guess that's why it was on special. It was an older dye lot or whatever. In fact, I couldn't get enough. They had 4 there, but they were two different color dye lots. So I ended up having to stripe the 2 of them all the way through, as well as carrying the yarn for the other stripe, which the colorful one here, which is Confetti by Artful Belle Muricano, and is also a DK. So because of the two dye lots, yeah. So here I am carrying three different yarns, which makes it a bit of it's kind of annoying, frankly. I'm not sure I'll do that again for a while. I haven't done much striping at all, in fact, and some of the joins they're not super lovely, I must say. They didn't come out beautifully. If you look down the side of I don't know if I should show you this because it really looks pretty bad, but you see there's this very obvious stripey thing here. I mean, it's on the inside of the arm, and I'm hoping it's not going to show very much, but and maybe it'll block out to some extent. I hope so, because it's not gorgeous. I don't know, man. I have so much to learn when it comes to knitting. I feel like I'm getting to be a pretty proficient knitter, but things like this, I have not done a lot of this, and I'm just really learning as I go. But I think that's a good exercise, because I do like striped things. I think it's fun to work with more than one color, so I need to get the hang of it. I just think I kind of was not very methodical. Sometimes I was doing really well, and then I would do something weird, and there'd be a big gap, and anyway. However, I am really enjoying this project. It's a very kind of a mindless knit, but because of the colors, it's a lot of fun. And I can't wait to finish. I'm using these wooden needles. They're interchangeables, and you would think I'd know the name of the company that makes these, but anyway, I can't remember what it is, and the label is off the pack, so maybe somebody will be able to tell me. They're all in different colors, the different sizes. I happened to buy an extra one of the size 4mm because it's such a handy size to have. So I'm using the two circulars for knitting in the round on these sleeves. I don't really use double pointed needles. I've never really liked them. I'm actually thinking of giving them a try again because of hearing from various people that they just find them so much faster. And you know, this can be kind of a pain, you know, moving these in and out, and you can often, you know, you often pick up the wrong end and you end up knitting onto one needle instead of two, which is, anyway, if you've never done this method and you don't like double pointed needles, I do recommend it. I find in some ways it's extremely simple and easy. You don't have to worry too much about you know, having a gap, you know, where you change when you change. That was my problem with double pointed needles. Every time I would change needles, I couldn't get it to not have a sort of ladder. Whereas I don't find that there's much of an issue with that. If you see where where I change over here, it's pretty much smooth. You just have to keep it on the tight side there, but it works pretty well. I know that some people really don't like it, but so yeah. So the main problem with the thing you have to remember is when you switch to the new needle, you have to you have to remember to always be using the same needle. So here I have the same needle. There we go. And so you pick up that end, and then you start knitting with that end. See, if you do what you normally would do, let's say with if you're doing magic loop, you would pick up this side, right? You pick up the side that's nearest the, I don't know if you can see that, but you know what I mean. But what ends up happening then is that you're knitting right onto the same needle that you're going to be back on one needle instead of two, which is not what you want. So that takes a little practice. It takes a little getting used to. But I do enjoy working with that method, but I think I might try double points again for a pair of socks. I'd be curious to know what your experience is with sock knitting. I think majority of people tend to use double points, but I don't know. Maybe you can let me know what your favorite method is. And certainly for sleeves, that would be about the same difference, like people, the division between people who use double points and people who use either magic loop or two circulars. Now the next thing I'm gonna have to do is pick up the stitches around the neck and do the neck, and then I'll be done. I can't wait. I'm actually hoping that I'll finish it by the time I have to go back to work on Sunday, which is the day after tomorrow. I've been off for a whole month, which has been amazing because my daughter and her husband were here for 3 weeks for a great visit. And my son and his girlfriend were here for a week or close to it, and we just had such a nice time. But now it's, yeah. I play trombone in an orchestra, in the Orchestre Symphonique de Montreal. And so I've been basically slacking off big time. I have not been practicing very much over the holidays, true confessions. But it's getting back into it now and hoping to be in shape by Sunday. And hope that I'll be ready to go. I'm sort of ready, sort of mentally ready, I should say. That's it for the oh, one thing, another issue I'm finding with this sweater is that you do this, you do the what do you call it, the hem, which is a split hem. You do it on the same size needle as the body, according to the directions, but I'm finding it really flips up a lot. I'm hoping that's going to block out a little bit, but my knitting guru at Espace Tricot, called Mona Schmidt, she says that I should have switched to a smaller needle. But it didn't say to do that in the pattern, so I don't know. So I'm going to see. If it doesn't block out, I'm going to have to probably re-knit that part because it'll drive me nuts. Okay, that's enough of that. Now, second one is, oh yeah, working on this great cardigan for my husband. I just started Actually, I started around the same time that I started the Clarke Pullover. This is the Cathedral Grove by José Paquin. And I'm not that far along, but I haven't worked on it for very much. I really feel like this is going to be a quick knit once I get to it for real. When I finish that other pullover, I'll start really working on this. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I don't know if you can see that. I'm making it in a, what's it called? Briggs & Little Tuffy yarn, which is 90% wool and 10% nylon. So it's really called Tuffy for a reason. This stuff feels like it's going to last for, you know, he'll be handing it down to our son, you know. And it's got, oh, I just love the cables on it. And they really pop out with this yarn, which I'm really happy with the way it's coming out. I just hope it's going to be the right size, because that was a bit of an issue. I didn't get gauge. I was a little bit too tight, so I went up a size, and I'm hoping that's going to be enough. We shall see. I put it against his shoulders, and it seems to be working working fine. So I just realized I better turn off my phone. Yeah, so I'm really having fun with it. It's a very good pattern, very easy to follow so far. And oh yeah, one thing I wanted to ask you know, your advice out there in Cyberland. I've been told that you can take this yarn and put it in hot water and it'll soften up a lot. Now I figure you can do that. I should be able to do that once it's done. But this was recommended to be done beforehand. Well, I didn't know how I would manage that, so I didn't do it. But I think I'm going to try it with the swatch I made and see if it shrinks, if it locks out nicely, if it softens it up. You know, what happens. Maybe you have some experience with this sort of thing, but because it is a bit of a tough yarn. It is not a soft yarn. It's scratchy-ish. But luckily it's a cardigan, so he's going to be wearing it over things. And if he doesn't wear it, believe me, I will wear it. And I think it'll be not too enormous for me to wear. So yeah, I made it in, I bought enough, I think I bought enough of the denim colorway for the whole sweater. But if I don't, just in case, I bought one skein of gray. So I thought, well, if all else fails, if I run out, I can use the gray for the shawl collar. We'll see how that works. All right, so next. Oh yeah, I am working on a pair of socks, which I'm calling Festive Socks. They were supposed to be for Christmas, but I didn't get them done. And isn't that a lovely colorway? That is Artful Belle, and it's like a one-of-a-kind colorway, I believe, that I got at a special sale they had at Despastrico. And this red is also Artful Belle. Don't remember the colorway. I've had that for a long time. I've used that. I made a pair of socks with it, and then I used it for a couple other things. And I still had enough for the tops and tails of these socks. Now, this is my first time trying the Fish Lips Kiss Heel by Socks Therapist. I decided this pattern is from Hermione's Everyday Sock pattern. It's something I've never tried, but I really, I've always wanted to try it. It's really easy, and I think it really makes a nice pattern. Nice texture. So, and I obviously I'm a toe-up sock person, so I didn't use her pattern for anything else but the actual stitch pattern. But anyway, I tried the method of testing the size of your foot, or where the placement of the Fish Lips Kiss Heel. I tried their method of using a cardboard cutout for your foot, and anyway, it's all very complicated. It's very long, a long pattern. You get a lot for your money with that Fish Lips Kiss Heel. I love the way it looks, but the sock is too big for me. So I'm going to have to go back and redo it, probably an inch back, And because of that, I have not finished this dang sock. So it's sitting here, but I will get to it. I don't want to do it right now. So there you go. Having some lovely tea. I'm using Stash's premium tea in their ginger lemon because I've got a cold. And I'm using one of the Chico's beautiful huge mugs that I love. Wow, that's not very warm anymore, but it's still good. Okay, so next finished, or not finished objects, but yeah, the other thing I'm making is I'm making a pair of mitts. Monty, move. Okay. I'm making a pair of mitts that'll match my hat, my Babel hat, making the Babel mitts. But I'm using different yarn. It's almost the same color, close enough. Again, I'm using the two circular method for this. Yeah, works great, no problem. And I'm using I'm knitting into the back of the knitted stitches, the knit stitches for the cuff. So they'll be nice and snug. Hopefully not too snug, but I think that this should be okay. Yeah, works. Seems to be just fine. And I'm using the Cascade Eco yarn, and I'm doubling it with this Shibui Silk Cloud because I want it to be really, really warm. And it comes out very nicely, I find. Isn't that a lovely colorway? Can you see that? It's Cove, I think. And this is the Pacific colorway of Cascade Eco. That's quite nice. I think, do you see a theme here? I'm obviously partial to blue, especially teal, and green, amongst other colors though. I'm kind of, what do you call it, eccentric when it comes to colors, you could say. So yeah, I think I'm gonna change the pattern on the mitts. I don't have a picture of it, but the pattern on the mitts has right after this you start putting dots like this of white. But I think I'm gonna not do that because I don't have enough white. I think I may have enough just to do the sheep and maybe some dots up here on the top of the mitt. And I might do the whole thing in the teal, do the top in the teal and the bottom, because I have plenty of that. And I think that'll look just fine. They're so cute, those little sheep. All right, so that's that. And next thing, I'm not a monogamous knitter, as you can probably see. I tend to have lots of things on the go, which kind of makes me feel guilty a little bit, because I'm always starting new things when I'm not finished other things. But, and also, I'm really trying not to buy any more yarn, although I did get a couple of gift certificates to Espastico from Christmas and my birthday, which was right after Christmas. And so, yay, that doesn't count, right? So yeah, I'm going to be doing some buying, but I have so much stash. And you know what? Sometimes it's really fun to look at your stash and sort of say, what can I do with this? Or find a pattern you like and say, what do I have that I can kind of adapt for that pattern? I wish I was one of those people that could just start casting on and just knit, you know, just for fun and see what goes on, see what happens. I'm not much into that. I mean, this is the extent of that kind of knitting for me. Okay, my son and his girlfriend Allison, Travis and Allison, gave me this lovely yarn that they bought in Ottawa where they live. It's kind of fun. It's like half cotton and half acrylic and nylon. And it's got all these bubbles on it. It's a bulky yarn. This is the pewter colorway. And I guess I'm in half into acquisitions now. But anyway, this is the King Cole Opium in pewter, and they also gave it to me in this navy colorway. So I'm in the process of making a kind of a cowl with this. I'm just doing a garter stitch cowl. I'm going to keep on knitting till I'm done with this colorway, and just sew it up at the end, and that'll be that, because it doesn't really need a pattern. In fact, I think anything you do with it would be lost. So I'm just gonna do it. Just gonna go. But I mean, like I said, that's a totally simple pattern. Not even a pattern, really. So yeah, I'm not one to make things up, and I find that's a lot like how I am as a musician as well. I'm a classical musician. I don't make things up very often, and I also don't improvise really. So I have a feeling that my brain is wired in such a way that I don't somehow imagine these things. However, I'm hoping to change that. Who knows? I saw a really interesting interview with Joji Locatelli with Christy Glass. Christy Glass? No, it was on the oh gosh, what was it called? The Fruity Knitter. Yeah. Anyway, it was very interesting to hear how Joji started knitting. I mean, her mother knitted everything for the kids, and she used to get Joji to do the calculations for everybody's sizes. They didn't have patterns. They had to knit from wherever. I guess she says they were mostly very simple things, but she learned to do that from day one. So for her, it was completely natural to continue that and to start whatever she could imagine. She probably imagined that she could knit it. And that's such a different way of looking at things. And it's a bit like learning how to play by ear from the beginning and never relying on music. I wish I had done that, but I didn't. I learned the complete opposite way. And I really think musicians are often kind of cut into with that too. You either play by ear, or you're kind of more devoted to more glued to the music, I guess. Not everybody. I mean, my husband, for instance, does both, and lots of people do. But anyway, that's enough of that. Next thing, yes, I have some acquisitions to show you. Although these are not recent things, mostly, but they're things I haven't used yet, and they're quite pretty. I picked this hedgehog fiber sock yarn up at Le Moulinet, I think it's called, up on Guildford in Montreal. It's a lovely little shop too. I really like it. And this is called Banana Legs. It's a sock yarn, as I said. And I have it earmarked for a pair of socks for my son's girlfriend, who loves the color yellow. So this might be her birthday present. And and this I got from my daughter for Christmas. This is the Debbie Bliss Falkland Aran, which I used for my Babel hat. But this is a navy colorway, which I really like. I don't know what I'm going to do. I have two of these. And what else do I have? Oh yeah, here's a beautiful thing that I bought at a special sale that they had when Tanis came to visit Espace Rico. So here when they started introducing the Pure Wash yarn, which is really, and look at that beautiful colorway with the pink in there. It's called Green Light. I'm not much into these spotted yarns. What do you call those? You know what I'm talking about. These yarns. But I just love this one. So I'm going to see how it knits up. My camera just turned off by itself. I don't know what happened. Well, we'll see how it goes. Obviously, I'm not technically brilliant, so we'll see what goes on there. Anyway, I'm going to double strand it with this Shibui Silk Cloud in the Pool colorway. Isn't that gorgeous? I think it'll look nice together. I think it's going to be for a hat, but I don't know yet. And not sure which hat. We shall see. Anyway, so I think that's really all I'm going to talk about tonight. Tonight. It's only 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So I hope you've enjoyed this. If you did, please press the like down below and subscribe to The Guilty Knitter. Bye-bye. Say something. Hello, knitters. This is Vivian from Montreal. The Guilty Knitter, episode 1. How's that? Perfect?
Yeah, you nailed it.
Yeah.